The Republican state senators in Indiana voted Tuesday to advance a ban on all gender-affirming care for those under 18, the latest in the year's movement by conservative states aiming to limit the rights of transgender youth. The bill passed the Senate, the vote of 36 to 12, sending it to the House despite the last week's contentious committee hearing that primarily featured testimony from vocal opponents. As I said earlier, usually it's the opponents that show up, the people that are there trying to talk some sense into the senators, but sense and senatorability don't really go along very well. Witnesses said the types of care the bill would ban, such as hormone therapy and puberty blockers, are vital and often life-saving for trans kids. I'm not afraid to be who I really am anymore, Damian Ryan, a 17-year-old trans teenager from Fishers, Indiana, said that day. Proponents of the legislation, however, voiced concerns about the number of gender transition surgeries, which the bill would also ban, taking place in the state. The only Indiana hospital that performs such procedures told senators that doctors typically do not refer minors for those surgeries. So again, it's a bill banning something that doesn't happen. And in that, they found this thing that they can mobilize their base on. Genital surgery on minors is something that a lot of people agree should not be performed. The fact that it in wide part, like in most part, is not being done is irrelevant to them in their argument. And the thing is they don't go and they don't ban genital surgeries for people under a certain age. They ban gender care, and they lump the things in there that aren't surgical, that aren't permanent, that don't do irreversible damage in that. The things that have been proven to really help trans kids. And the big fear that they are pushing is that people who are not trans or who are pushed into thinking they're trans are being caught up in this. And the numbers just don't back it up. There are people who become part of this, who do take hormone therapy and move down the path of surgeries later in life when maybe they're misdiagnosed. We've talked about that several times. There are detransitioners who've said that, they weren't actually trans. They had mental health comorbidities that added up together to result in a misdiagnosis of dysphoria, either from themselves or from medical professionals. And they just didn't get enough of the care that they needed to diagnose what was really going on with them. But again, that's a very, very, very small percentage of the trans population, which is a small percentage of the US population. So these bans in great part harm many, many more people than they are saving. They're not protecting people. They're harming people. They're harming children based on this fear that some children are being somehow wrapped up into this. And I've said it many times on here that it's an issue with diagnosis. It's an issue with mental health treatment and stigma that needs to be addressed. And banning care that is proven to help people, proven to save lives, is utterly irresponsible.